evening, gentle listener, and welcome to Closing Shift, not a Wood Elf production. I am one of your hosts, Mia, joined here by other host, Emmy. How are you doing today?
I'm joined. That's not what I meant. I meant, I'm doing okay. How are you?
I am super chill. Tell you what, I've had a nice thing for about the past week and a half or so, where I was getting pretty low on my usual coffee blend, which is usually just a Dunkin' medium roast. And so I asked, it's like, hey, can you pick me up coffee from the store? And what ended up being picked up for me was like a smaller bag, just as a supplemental thing until it could get to like a bigger box store to get the usual bulk coffee that I get. Still Dunkin' blend, still medium roast, but this was French vanilla. So I've been drinking French vanilla coffee for a bit over a week, and it's nice. I don't think I wanted to replace my usual morning cup for any kind of permanent stay, but it's been a nice little luxury for just a little bit.
That's nice. I've never strayed away from my go-to. I'm not one to do that, really.
That's fair.
I'm very stuck in my roots. Once I plant myself in a interest and the specific orientation of which I do that, which for me would be medium roast with creamer. That's it. Period. End of story.
I used to drink my coffee with like milk or whatever. I've never really been one for creamer. I've always just used milk for whatever. If I need to like dull the taste of whatever, if I make like iced coffee or something.
I don't like milk.
No. But basically, that's been like, I used to do that, but then I just decided for a little bit, I was like, let me just try black coffee. Let me just have that for a while because I'm too lazy to like always be mixing this. And then I now just drink black coffee all the time. It's what I prefer. It's almost like an improvement to one's life to have something so boring and plain in the morning.
I kind of wish.
It makes you appreciate the finer things.
I spend money on creamer. Well, I haven't recently, but I spend money on creamer like I used to spend money on vapes. It's a necessity in this house. I need coffee and creamer.
Real shit.
I almost cannot start any day in a happy mood unless I have it.
I can't have a happy day until I cream.
I'm probably on like 3 or 4 years of the same mix, honestly. It was introduced to me this way by my sister with this same coffee and this same creamer, and I've been using it ever since. During the Zoom S&P days, I was drinking it. Zoom S&P is like 4 years, like 4 years old at this point.
Yeah.
Zoom S&P is like 4 years old.
That was like November of 2020.
The lock video happened like this time 4 years ago.
Yeah, because it was all around Thanksgiving season.
Think about that, man. I was just, this is actually something I wanted to bring up today. I was thinking about like the time, like the retrospective. We were talking a little bit earlier off screen, off mic, off whatever, fucking off of your ears. Yeah, literally like fuck you, off yourself. No, I wish I had said that because it was so funny. That was good though.
Thank you.
I just wanted to give you I just wanted to tell you that was really funny. Off yourself. But we were talking about it a little bit before we started recording that this was so much. We were mostly talking about it in terms of wrestling, but there's been so much like shit. Like the beginning of 2024 didn't have Closing Shift. It didn't even exist when this year started.
Yeah.
I was still vaping when this year started. I was still on my nicotine addiction. I didn't quit that until around the time we started this show. Those are basically synonymous, honestly. And I remember too, because I had like just quit. I still remember February 5th was the day that I decided I was going to quit. And that was around the time we decided we were going to start Closing Shift, and we recorded the first episode. And I remember because like we recorded the first episode and I was like, damn, that was a banger. That was a good episode. I got a good feeling about this. And here we are 43 weeks later.
The first episode we did was just going to be like a test fire.
Right.
And
right.
then it was just like we ran with it.
It was just a banger. I mean, that's what happened with Big Wet Big too.
Yeah.
But I want to acknowledge, since Mia's stupid dumbass in the last episode forgot to mention the playlist we were listening to. I wanted to mention that in this episode we are listening to Cozy Coffee Shop Jazz in the background. Link in the description if you'd like to listen along with us. And I also have the opening question and wanted to get to it before we strayed away too far. So my opening question for you today, because I've been thinking about the same song that is my answer for this question. Which Nintendo song to you serves the most sorry, not con, I meant like cunt. I was thinking like content, Which Nintendo song to you serves the most cunt? / which song did Nintendo eat the hardest with? Like, which song comes to mind that you're like, this song fucks? Like, I could fuck to this song.
You know, there's a lot of really, really good Nintendo music. I mean, playing Twilight Princess has, like, incredible music for a lot of it. That, like, Hyrule Field theme for Twilight Princess is just, like, it's always good. And same with Castletown for Twilight Princess. They're both just, like, always good. But,
yeah,
I can tie this into something that I want to complain about, which is my favorite thing to do in the world.
Good.
I think I really just have a gigantic soft spot for the overworld theme of Spirit Tracks, because it just so perfectly encapsulates that feeling of, like, adventure. It's, like, so perfect that it's, like, it's got that, like it's, like, so bright, and it's, like, this sort of, like, it feels like you're doing something big for how little the game actually is.
Right.
It's almost like Studio Ghibli-esque, I'd say, for that song.
Yeah, that's fair. I want to redirect a little bit, though. Not what I was asking. I wasn't asking for, like, a song you think is good. I was asking for which song you think, like, fucks the heart. Like, which song do you think gets all the bitches? Like, which song do you think is the sleaziest? Because, like, I have an idea in mind that's a great example, but, like...
Well, if we're talking about, like, maybe, like that one Bowser theme, if we're talking about, like a song that's, like, all about, like, fuck...
Yeah. Yeah. So that is one of the boss themes from Mario 3D World, and that is the exact example I was thinking of. It's called A Boss Approaches.
Songs of that vibe. It's kind of hard to think about, but there are a lot of good ones.
There are some songs, like, in my opinion, Throwback Galaxy fucks a little bit. I don't think it fucks that hard, but it fucks. It's good. It's pretty good. It's good. It's jazzy
Mario Galaxy, of course, is just, like, full of great music.
It's full of fuck.
All around Nintendo stuff, though, it's hard to, like, I mean, probably something for, like, Metroid Prime has some, like, really good shit, but I don't think it really fits that vibe, like, too well.
Smash Melee has some fuck, I think.
Oh, you know what? DK, Donkey Kong Country, whatever track it is from that's like... That one is just, like... Yeah, I think that one, like, fits that vibe amazingly.
That is fair. That one's got good drums.
I need to, like, I don't think I've ever, like, fully played through a Donkey Kong Country game. I got Tropical Freeze on the Wii U forever ago. I got a little bit through it, but then my Wii U disc reader just, like, stopped working, so never finished Tropical Freeze. Mm-hmm. Rather sad.
I don't think I've played a Donkey Kong game besides Donkey Kong 64 in my entire life, which I know is probably heartbreaking to some people.
DK64, is that, like, a good one?
It's one of the only... I think it's the only 3D open world kind of, like, DK game. It's where the DK rap came from.
Yeah, that's all I know about it.
I don't think I don't think a lot of people like it that much. I don't think it's super bad, but I didn't play it that much, so I don't really have an opinion that much on it. Maybe you should play it on stream. That would be fun.
I could.
Seems like up
all
your
I know
alley.
about DK64 is that it has the DK rap, and that's the game that, like, that never actually had, like, a fully completed 100% run up until a few years ago, where they discovered it's now, I guess, like 101% or something. But there was, like, a secret collectible piece hidden, like, somewhat clipped through the ground in, like, a patch of grass that's only collectible in a certain way, but it is still a valid collectible. So now there's, like, 101% completion in that game that was only discovered, like, forever late. That's all I know.
We discovered they put Epstein Island in DK64.
That's the fucking island that it's on. It's Epstein Island.
Yeah, no, I had the cartridge as a kid, that ugly orange ass cartridge, but I didn't play it, or like that banana yellow cartridge, but I didn't play it that much. I didn't play. I mean, that kind of ties into, like, what I won't say I was gonna bring it up because I wasn't, but I mean, like, what I've been doing in my life recently is basically, like, catching up on, like, all the games that I was too paranoid over the last, like, 5 years about, like, either, like, falling out of interest or, like, having some kind of anxiety that I wouldn't be able to finish the game based on where I was at in life at the time. I'm kind of catching up on those games, including ones further back than that, not just like games that came out in the last 5 years, but tons of other stuff. Like I have already gone back this year and beaten Breath of the Wild, Link's Awakening. I just beat Pokemon Brilliant Diamond yesterday, beat the Elite Four and the champion, Cynthia, became the Sinnoh champion, and I'm on to Pokemon Sword now, because that's the next one I have that's like a normal Pokemon game. I'm going to buy Violet and move on to that next. Either that or I'm going to go back to Zelda, but I don't have a plan for Zelda at the moment, so I don't know. It depends. Those are the two franchises I'm definitely the most interested in right now.
Saying you should have joined me for Zelda month.
I mean, I'm not, I can't though, because I'm not doing Zelda stuff this month. It's like I said, I don't have a plan for Zelda right now. There also virtually would have been no point because I wasn't making content out of any of it.
Just for fun to explore the series. That's what I did for all of November. It has just been going through Zelda games that I've never finished before, but had interest in.
I had Zelda year basically, and it was only this month that I started switching to Pokemon. So take that right up your chew toy.
I've actually now had more interest in Pokemon than I've had in the past several years because of the TCG Pocket app.
The TCG Pocket app has brought quite a lot of people on to the pack opening and battling kind of thing.
I think it is the smartest thing that Pokemon has ever done as a business decision.
I think I agree with somebody. I think it is smart for sure. I think it's really smart. But I think it would have been smarter to release something like this during the pandemic. Like, I think if they had released this when this pandemic happened, it would have taken over the fucking world, like similar to Pokemon Go. It's taken over quite a lot.
Well, you know what, though? They didn't need it then. During the pandemic, there was already a gigantic push for Pokemon card collecting. Like, that was, like, what the market was during, like, 2020, 2021. It was all dominated by, like, you know, people trying to get their PSA 10 Charizards. And I don't think that would have been a great move for them at that time to, like, really double down on the Pocket app when, like, it was having a collection craze. Because then it would have been seen more as, like, a fad and a luxury thing, as opposed to the game that it is. I don't think they wanted to be associated with, like, that kind of, like, scalpers and $40,000 collectible stuff.
Wonder picking is basically scalping. Anyway.
But the Pokemon TCG game, it is, like, it's pretty fun. And opening up all the little boosters in there, you know, you have to have the recognition that, like, if you actually tried to open booster packs at that rate in real life, you would, like, go broke immediately. But it has, I mean, the marketing of it is working on me. The fact that, like, I do now kind of want to, like, collect physical Pokemon cards.
I'm not gonna, like, call him out too much, but Chandler did buy real Pokemon cards recently and open them. He didn't get that much.
It's fun.
It's fun, though. When we were all together in the meetup 2.5 years ago, I bought Pokemon cards while we were all there. I remember.
I did too.
And I opened them. I bought like a whole box, I remember. And I opened them and I got my, it's either a holo or a reverse holo Hisuian Typhlosion, but I love that card because I love Hisuian Typhlosion.
I don't know what pack it was. I guess it would have been the same pack that you got all the ones of. I just bought one booster and I opened that. And I have one of those cards from that. I have a clear phone case, and the Togetic from that is in, like, the back of my phone case on display there. And I think I have a couple of other ones just kind of sat around. But I remember I gave, like, most of those cards that came in that booster, I just, like, distributed to all the people who were there. I gave Chandler the Ursa ring. And that's just something that I think of fondly now. I see this little card, and I'm like, yeah, that was a fun little moment.
I think I gave some people some cards. I definitely meant to. I kept the Hisuian Typhlosion because it was, like, the best card I got out of that entire draw. But I got quite a few, like, different, like, holos and stuff.
Believe it or not, I still have on my right thumb, it is the only finger left that has anything left on it, but there is still a tiny amount of nail polish left over from Bad Blood. Just, like, the tiniest little fucking fleck of pepper of this purple nail polish.
Amazing.
Been almost 2 months. And I want to repaint my nails, but I'm like, oh, but that's like a thing.
Yeah, but so is the entire bottle of nail polish.
It is, but, you know.
You got that while you were staying with me. Think of it that way and repaint your nails.
I mean, I have now, like, I still have, it's been hanging up behind me for the past 2 years as well. Also from that meetup, the flag you gave me. That's been up on
Right.
my wall for the past couple years. And sometimes I just look at it and I'm like, oh yeah.
You have that, and I have the picture of us on the boat on my wall. My mom got that printed for me on a banner
Yeah.
thing while we were there. And then when I came home, she was like, I got you a thing. And I was like, no way.
No way.
Yeah, with this year nearing its end, it has been a hell of a, like, first half of the 2020s, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, people were making the joke that it was going to be like, haha, the roaring 20s are going to come back and it's all going to be a repeat. And then it actually was a repeat.
It was a repeat of, like, the worst stuff, except for in, like, wrestling.
Where we are getting, like, I mean, between the way that everything is politically has been all the same there. Global pandemic, tariffs ruining America, all the good stuff. The Smoot Hawley Act. Anybody?
Well, liberalism is a cum disorder.
It is. That's a picture that Emmy shared with me.
Yeah, I will absolutely not be putting it on the screen. It's pretty funny though.
I don't know if you could just find it by looking up like cum truck.
Yeah. Just look that up.
Just look up cum truck.
Yeah, and just have a ball.
It's got a million fucking stickers on it. You'll find it.
You'll be looking for the car that says "Build the Cum" on it.
Yeah. Not hard to find.
So what are you doing? So what are you gonna do after Zelda month's over?
Weirdly enough, it's probably still gonna be even more Zelda stuff. For like some part of it is still gonna be Zelda stuff because I have been now after playing Twilight Princess, I moved on to Spirit Tracks. I just finished Spirit Tracks. I fucking hate it. It's the worst Zelda game I've ever played. Absolutely miserable. But I was sort of double teaming, one on stream, one offline, while playing Spirit Tracks, learning the any % run for Twilight Princess. And that's what I'm even doing it like right now. As we're recording this, I'm still practicing some shit with it. And that's just been what I've been doing like every night for about a week. Has just been learning Twilight Princess any %. A pretty old and pretty safe route that just sort of gets me introduced with some of the major things while being mostly like safe and pretty slow. But I now know it by heart how to do this entire run. And I'm probably as soon as I don't even know, like as soon as I get like a little bit more consistent with it, I'm going to start streaming runs of it. And I didn't think I was going to be speed running Twilight Princess. Somebody in my chat mentioned it on the final stream I did of Twilight Princess. A raider came in who was a speedrunner of it. It was like, you should consider getting into Twilight Princess speedrunning because it's like a really good community. It's all good stuff. And I was like, I'd probably, if I was going to speedrun anything, it would be Majora's Mask, not Twilight Princess. But Twilight Princess ended up having a really good learning resource for its run that just made it super, super easy to figure out like the entire thing, easy to follow along and have like notes for like every single thing along the way. They just made it super easy to follow and learn. And I'd still like to learn Majora's Mask because I want to do like rando stuff. That's kind of the biggest motivator of that. But I've been having an awesome time getting back into speedrunning.
Well, that's good. Speedrun is definitely not my thing. I definitely am not coordinated enough mentally to speedrun. I'm a very casual gamer. I mean, I've always prided myself on being a very casual gamer.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. A dying breed.
Truly. Although I have tipped my toes back into some competitive gaming, playing mostly Valorant, but the only other game I've been working on like strategy wise, I guess, is Phasmophobia. We've been playing Phasmophobia.
We sure have done that twice now after recording sessions.
And I was playing it with the group too. My group, because they seem to have randomly picked it back up around the same time we randomly picked it back up.
It's a good time to get back into it. They had a big reset, and it's a little bit hard to get back into the early game, but it is fun.
Yeah, I think we are just like specifically we are gonna have to start moving on to intermediate missions. And since I now, thanks to farming my levels in XP off of the other people who have higher levels, am going to be able to bring more items for us. I'm now at the point you have to be level 16 in Phasmophobia to have every level 1 item unlocked, and I am now that level, so I can bring at least every level 1 item. I think you have to be, if I remember correctly, you have to be level 90 in the game to unlock every item. For
those that listen to this show but don't watch any of our stream stuff, haven't seen us play Phasmophobia, we had a really fun thing happen for the first 1.5 times playing it together, that we just couldn't get any evidence for the ghosts, only to find out that they changed how a lot of items worked, and that's why we couldn't get anything.
Yep.
Certainly a fun time.
We got robbed.
We did.
But now we know a little bit better. I also found out and rediscovered a bunch of shit you can take pictures of that we weren't taking any pictures of.
Oh, shit.
You can take pictures of fingerprints and get money. You can take pictures of ghostwriting and get money. You can take pictures of other shit and get money. And I forgot about all that.
We were just doing the bone.
We were just doing the bone.
We were
boning. Wasting so much money.
Man, yeah, that probably also contributes. But you know what? They didn't, like, throw us into, like, a new tutorial or anything, launching back up after coming in after several years.
Right. They just assume... Because, like, it's got a plaque in the lobby in the game when you go... If you're in the lobby in the game, it'll have a plaque near a door in the lobby that will show your level from before they reset it.
Yes, your pre-time skip level.
Yeah, literally. So I'm assuming they just like are assuming you're good. I'm assuming that they are assuming that you're good.
We're just gonna assume you're gonna read over all these item descriptions for items that you would have no reason of thinking changed at all.
Right.
I guess that's another thing they added, was having multiple different levels of a lot of the basic equipment.
The levels to the equipment, you said?
Yeah, because there wasn't like, there's only like one level of like EMF and all that, but now there's like, it goes up tiers for like better effectiveness, easier finding and all that.
Right.
I guess in a little bit more news of whatever in recent times, I've watched a few more episodes of Mushishi. That's still been really, really good. Still grateful for that recommendation. That alongside Twilight Princess, also I need to get back to Twin Peaks eventually, but just a lot of good, like, sort of artful and like contemplative and very like, I've been experiencing a lot of media lately that has like a lot of beauty to it and like is very like thoughtful.
Yeah.
And that's been like a very nice thing to just kind of have in our age of brain rot, to have things that like feel like they are made with purpose and intention and love. And they're all about like the beauty of things in these slower moments.
Yeah. Thankfully, I can find beauty in a lot of things. It's something I worked on within myself for a long time, but I'm like pretty easy to see the beauty in the small things. Like anything I can just enjoy with my mind and fully like dedicate my brain to enjoy for a while. I'm just like, thank God for this, because I just need like, I need enough stimulation to get my energy out through the main part of the day so that I feel tired by the time it's time to go to bed. That's about as complicated as I live my life. It's very simple.
I keep encountering a problem recently. I keep taking my ADHD medication like a bit too late in the morning. Like I keep forgetting to take it the moment I wake up, which means that I'm taking it usually like right before I start stream around noon. And it's an extended release thing. So that means that it's still kind of popping off like really late into the day. And that's been good for like post stream trying to learn Twilight Princess, that I have the energy to do that, and it keeps me going through the run. But it also means that like I'm still so reliant on melatonin to get to sleep.
Right.
And I keep encountering a problem once again that I had a few months ago, and I'm having it again, where it's like I keep trying to wake up at 10 a.m., but I just always wake up at like 9 or like 8:30. I guess winter's fucking with me for that, because I do partially wake up with the aid of the sun, but because I'm just kind of used to like that light level, but it's like fucking with me now. And also it gets dark here at 5 p.m. and it like I'm not any kind of big fan of sunlight being here in Arizona, but it kind of sucks when it gets dark at 5 p.m. It fucks with my like internal schedule so much.
Yeah.
And my internal sense of time is just also messed up from the ADHD medication.
I'm huge on, I mean, I don't know, it's like when I comment on stuff like this, sometimes I'm like, I feel bad because I feel like I'm just speaking from a very privileged position, because I feel like being a morning person is a privilege that like people think is crazy. It's just, it's tough because I don't want to like, I'm not trying to be like better by being a morning person. I just am a morning person and just have very easily evolved into that. I still like staying up, but I will not, I like have to sleep also.
I think I'm in a very unfortunate place where like all of my habits and rituals are all tied into like having a good morning and getting stuff started bright and early in the day and really like making the most of that. like having, the most basic of mornings of drinking black coffee, having an omelet, and just like enjoying the morning is always like the best way for me to start the day. It's like such a nice, like grounding thing to have such a basic, fresh start every day. And so that's like a very important ritual for me, basically every morning to have that kind of thing. But my body is still just like, no, we're going to bed at 3 a.m. I only want to sleep at 3 a.m. So it's like this constant clash.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. I don't know. My body, I mean, I don't mean to sound repetitive, but the amount of work I put into like my life and my brain and the way I work is staggering. Like, it's very noteworthy, and I definitely do not take it lightly, because the reason I feel like I'm in such like a privileged position with the way my life runs so smoothly is because I feel like a lot of other people don't understand how to work at it in the way that, like, I have had a lot of help that I'm very thankful for and very privileged to have, but I just want to share that info without sounding like I'm like, let me help you lesser being.
Yeah. Let me tell you how to get your shit in order, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, I don't want to be like mean.
I mean, it's a difficult thing now with like basically everybody everywhere going through a constant mental health crisis that is like, whenever you're doing normal and okay, it feels like this like weird privileged state where you're like pious almost. Like, you can't just tell somebody like how happy you are or having a good day. It's like, you can't like become any kind of beacon of sunshine or like have any amount of light when you know that everybody else is like still going through like a lot of shit, because it just feels like a flex.
Yeah, it's really hard to not sound like an asshole when you just want to like share good news.
I feel like an asshole partially for like still having my spirits about me and actually still having a positive outlook post-election, like having confidence and endurance through that. I feel like I must be a fucking dick to everybody here that like hates life right now. And it's like, it's not going to be good for me either inside of all that. I've just chosen to be more positive with it.
Right.
I just have my own outlook. I used Harden.
I used Harden. Yeah, true.
I think this would be a fantastic time to get into a segment of the day. This being another variation of Save the Date. Except the goal of this one is going to be finding a bit of a connecting thread between all of these articles that I am going to read to you.
Great.
Find a way, basically, that all of these articles can be summarized together.
Right.
This paper that I'm going to be taking these all from today is the Los Angeles Herald, published February 13th, 1910. And the first article that we have for this reads as such: Death ends career of pathetic stage figure. Mentally unbalanced, Mrs. Martin maintained to end. Jeers were meant for applause. February 12th. Death removed yesterday one of the most unique and pathetic figures of the American stage. Madame Periwinkle has passed away, convinced to the end that the jeering audiences that greeted her a generation ago really acclaimed her the greatest actress of her time. 20 years ago, Miss Suzanne Martin, her mind unbalanced by the loss of her husband, conceived the idea that she was a great actress. A cynical manager foreseeing a unique feature encouraged the belief, and Madame Periwinkle appeared in vaudeville. She could neither sing nor dance, and her costume was made up of weird, ill-fitting odds and ends. But again and again, she appeared before crowded houses and received the jeering plaudits as genuine appreciation. The novelty at last wore off, and her feeble brain gave way entirely. She was 61 years old.
Well,
one of the most brutal articles I have ever read in my fucking life.
Stupid ugly bitch dies finally.
Pathetic stage performer. Feeble brain.
Well,
that's really something.
Not to be rude, but ding dong, the wicked bitch is dead.
She was such a bad performer that they were just like, even in her obituary, they're still just like, yeah, it was fucking sad all the way to the end.
Thank God for this day.
All right, the second article, remember, these are all in the same paper.
Okay.
Shovel snow, drop dead. 2 well-known men of this vicinity dropped dead today after shoveling snow from the sidewalks of their homes. They were John A. Wareem, a prominent retired hotel keeper of this place, and William A. Moore of McVeytown, a retired farmer. So 2 dudes, 2 deaths from shoveling snow on this February day. And our third article, on the exact same page of this paper, found dead in bathroom. W.T. Lipper, who came here from Chico several days ago to engage in business, was found dead today in a bathroom. The dead man, who was 55 years old, was a sufferer from dropsy. Those are 3 articles, all from this same paper. And I could give a fourth that may skew slightly, but is still somewhat in theme. But do you have any connecting thread of how to summarize all of these different articles?
I don't have an answer that is correct, probably. I mean, is it that they all died?
I mean, that is the most basic of thread. But how would you, like, if you're going to group all of them together, of, like, what all 3 of these are? What are all of them stories of?
Can you read the headlines again?
Yes. Found dead in bathroom. Shovel snow, drop dead. Death ends career of pathetic stage figure.
They're all stories of people seemingly dying in really goofy ways or just having the worst outs possible.
That is close enough to the connecting thread I was looking for. Pathetic deaths. Died shoveling snow, died in the bathroom, and a pathetic stage performer. That is all of those. There is a second thing of a bunch of articles in this paper that I was thinking of finding some way of connecting all of them in like a way that isn't the most obvious possible, but I couldn't find anything other than just what they are. But there are also all on this same paper, like literally all on the same page as well. You have 51 known dead, 120 doomed in wrecks at sea, 2 vessels with over 100 persons probably sunk. So that's like big headline, first thing. Immediately under that, different article. Americans lose lives in wreck. Steamer filled so rapidly there was no time for passengers or crew to lower the boats. So that's 2 shipwrecks, both on this same page, same day of this newspaper. Immediately after that, over score injured by train collision. Trolley coaches crashed together in heavy fog on Long Trestle. One of victims believed dying. So that is now 3 travel accidents on the same page. And number 4, mangled, crawls miles, saves 200. Operator, run over, warns passenger train. Employee with 1 leg gone draws himself to station and prevents wreck on Great Western Railroad. So we have all on the same thing. 3 total ships, all wrecking and losing lives. We have a train collision that also claimed lives. And we had a near train collision stopped by a dude crawling a mile with mangled legs that he had to crawl to a station and warn them of an oncoming trolley. What the fuck was going on this day in 1910?
A lot, apparently.
A lot. How do you have so many tragedies?
A lot of people not being able to handle themselves.
Oh, there was also another one. I think there was another shipwreck of a different, like, schooner. It's insane. So yeah, just, I don't know, I guess we should be grateful that, like, we're not having that happen every 2 seconds nowadays.
I'm so grateful.
I'm grateful to have not been a Californian during 1910 on February 13th.
Everyone remembers February 13th, 1910.
I remember it like it was 1910 ago. Tell you what, after my last 2 experiences on an airplane, I don't think I would mind if I was in an traffic accident and the plane just fucking crashed halfway through. Those were miserable flights. Had a dude using my fucking my fucking fat roll as an armrest while he was like spread eagled in the middle seat. Dude in front of me like leaned all the way back, crushing my knees the whole time. Excruciating pain. And because of the dude being
sucks.
like spread eagle in the middle, I had to like have my leg like halfway out into the aisle. So I had to be like pulling in and scrunching up like every 10 seconds whenever somebody would pass by. Flying is not the best time these days.
Not with that attitude.
Not with that height and weight. You know, they didn't used to charge for baggage on airlines. That was only a post 9/11 thing. It was supposed to be a temporary thing that you would be charged to check bags for airlines. That was just supposed to help them get back on their feet after 9/11 hurt the airline industry. And that temporary fee is now a permanent thing that grows ever larger every year.
Well, it makes them so much money.
I mean, why would they get rid of it? Because it's what everybody's come to expect.
It's a no-brainer.
If you can get away with it, then get away with it. It's fine. Let the airlines investigate themselves. I watched a thing kind of recently about like how terrible it is, the monopolization of airlines and airports. That like it wasn't a thing not even that long ago that there wasn't just these few like megalithic like airline companies that controlled everything, like the same like six basically being in control of an entire airport, like having a whole wing of it dedicated entirely to Delta or American or something like that. That
Right.
It used to be like there were over 100 different airline companies and each of them could share space at the airport as this almost like public thing that, you know, they would just be able to, if there was an open dock and they could land there, that could just be a place for like any competing company could just land at an airport. But now it's like super like exclusive and monopolized that like you have to have these very few specific companies that have very specific control over airports. And so they can just like do whatever they want because there's no competition. And it's for how shitty their service is and how deserved their bad rap is. Spirit Airlines is kind of changing that a bit with being like the only budget option that like exists these days. And although their service is pretty shit, it is like a much appreciated thing amidst the monopoly.
Right.
They're like the only ones having a healthy practice.
A lot of things over time have gotten better in weirdly specific ways, and a lot of things gotten worse in weirdly specific ways.
Yeah.
It just depends where you look, but you know, that's like we were talking about earlier. We're having a more positive mindset right now in life, but that's only for like the immediate kind of thinking.
You know what's another thing? It's one of those things that has improved. That I guess I'll send this here and we could put it in the episode as a fun little like bonus. But there's finally in one of these papers that I have for this segment, there's a little comic in it that is actually mildly amusing and not just straight up like racism. This being that there was finally like a law enacted that food handlers would have to disclose when food went into cold storage. And so they have this little comic here, all these little bits of meat that is like, you know, from like King Ramsay's. So that's one thing that's nice. A little bit more transparency on not just getting like 100-year-old meat out of a freezer.
Goodness.
Of anything that I'm the most worried about in the next 4 years is that like there's certain things that can be fought on a state level in terms of like maintaining people's rights. But one thing that is a lot harder to fight on a state level is government regulations surrounding the safe handling of food. And since we're going to have fucking RFK Jr. in control of that, and a lot of restrictions already being repealed, which has already led to like a lot of outbreaks of like listeria and E. coli and like everything, even just these past couple months. I am not very hopeful for the next couple years about not getting sick from just any random food you get at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to get worse from there, and people are going to be getting sick a lot more just from random things. A lot more recalls happening. So I think that's the biggest thing I'm worried about is just like our food is just going to be worse.
Yeah, that is something to look out for. Definitely keep your eyes peeled through these next 4 years.
On top of that, you have now have you seen this recent trend, this thing of like, it's all like, of course, it's like the anti-vaccine weirdos are the same type of people getting into this now. You know, those kinds of like alternative medicine folks that will just believe literally anything about anything, whether or not it actually is true or healthy or is gonna fucking get you killed. Recent trend of people drinking raw milk, unpasteurized milk, because they think it's gonna give you like superpowers or some shit. Like pasteurized milk somehow is like this horrible thing for you. So instead, we're gonna drink raw milk with all of its diseases and like everything. It doesn't make any sense.
Well,
It's like eating like purely like raw chicken.
yeah, probably not the way to go.
I think one of the funnier things of that, of people now like drinking raw milk as this supposed health thing, even though it is the least healthy thing you could ever consume. some of the folks involved in that I've like partook, they they've joined in and they've been like, you know what, I like this raw milk thing, but you know, just to make sure that it's safe, I do actually like I boil the milk for a while before drinking it. You mean pasteurization? You mean you're pasteurizing the milk before you drink it? Your raw milk that you bought specifically so it wouldn't be pasteurized? You don't like, not even knowing what pasteurization is. Just thinking like, oh, I'll boil it to be safe. I got this raw milk. It's like, you just pasteurized it. You just ruined the entire point of your bullshit. You were gonna do some shit, and now it doesn't even make sense.
Well, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes with those folks. They really like to just do and say things. They don't exactly check up on their references.
No, just believe literally anything. I had a problem a couple months ago with family members where like a couple family members that like were known within the family for, you know, being very large and having really bad weight problems. They got into like this health fad thing of these like crazy fucking smoothies, like basically like a liquid diet. And it's just like chock full with like, if you're going to be like, it's a recipe that literally it was like spawned off of Facebook, which of course, Dr. Facebook is of course what you should be trusting for health. But they did lose a shit ton of weight by like, you know, basically going on a liquid diet of those smoothies. Right. And I had to like talk to a couple family members and be like, no, it's not a good idea to follow in their footsteps in this like actual like liquid diet that's like cramming you full of like you are actually going to OD on nutrients if you like follow this. This is not made by like a nutritionist. This is not made by anybody with your health in mind. This is made for likes on Facebook. And that was quite a battle there just for the fight for like, no, you should eat like food.
You should be eating food.
That's been one of the unfortunate things with my ADHD medication now is that, of course, it being a stimulant, it messes with your appetite. So I haven't really been like too hungry in the mornings, and that's been messing with my, you know, I used to have the routine of like making a sandwich every morning, and that would take like at least half an hour to make that sandwich. And it was, you know, that was a part of like a nice routine thing. And then that got phased out. That got replaced with making a morning omelet. And that was also a nice thing for a while. But now I just don't really have that hunger in the morning. And so I haven't really been doing like that kind of breakfast for a while. It's been like a lot more like quicker breakfast and doing whatever, or just not eating breakfast and waiting until lunch. It's not the best for like my usual routine stuff. It's kind of sad, but I just don't have the appetite for my usual breakfast.
I mean, having a wrench thrown in your routine is tough, I know. I mean, that was one of my biggest issues was my routine was just going back and forth, just having wrenches constantly thrown through it.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, I mean, like any amount of time any of you have seen me make content, I've been working over all of that time to fight that and get better. At certain points I had to get better, and at some points I wanted to get better. And getting better fucking rocks.
It really does.
You gotta be willing to like look at yourself and be like, what the hell is wrong with me?
Sometimes you gotta take a look and be like, what's going on right now ain't working. And it's gonna be difficult to get into the habit of stuff that does work, but it's worth it.
It's worth the effort for sure. You do have to want it, but you can want it without having to go to that crazy of lengths.
I try to be positive, shit, it gets exhausting, but negative charges cost a bit. Confidence is like a conduit. On the road to infinite accomplishment, I simply can't commit.
I made a Spotify radio based off of Save Face As from Beneath the Toxic Jungle, and I found a couple of good hits. I found some, I found a song called Egyptian Pools by Juicebox, a song called Your Face by Lando.
Calrissian?
Found a song called Light 'Em Up by Love Sad Kid featuring Rav.
Oh, nice. Love Sad Kid, he's the one on... What Bill track was Bill in Love Sad Kid? Was that Dance Revolution? Or am I thinking of something else?
I don't know what you're talking about. I know he was on Free because he was on that album.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what else Bill and Love Sad Kid. Like there's one that like I quite like that has both of them.
I'm not sure. You might have to look it up.
Let me look this up. I guess I'd have to look at Bill stuff to see this. Whatever it was. What was this on? It would have been like a single or something, which makes it really hard to find.
Yeah. If you're on Spotify and you search Bill and Love Sad Kid, though, that might get you there faster.
Seeing a couple things. Trying to find the actual thing, though, that I'm thinking of. Oh, Gold Midas is the one on A Dance Revolution. I got that wrong.
I see.
Well, it was a different thing. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it here because I'm really bad at navigating Spotify.
That's okay. Not everyone can be cool and hip.
It is true. It is hard to like navigate any kind of search engine or anything these days. A lot of it's just like junk. Trying to find a YouTube video or even like TikTok has the worst search engine. Kind of hard to find like so much stuff because it's just not accurate results that you get because it's like algorithm based on like this is what we think you want to watch right now instead of what you're actually looking for. And then TikTok being if you try to look up something on there, you are not going to get anywhere close to what you're looking for. You're going to get like if you look up like a TikTok that you remember and you're trying to like find it like based off of a description of the TikTok, you look that up, you're going to get like a video from 2 years ago of somebody talking about a different thing about the creator of that TikTok, and then you'll find like a duet that has no source, and then you'll find like a bunch of brain rot videos that are not related to it at all, and then you'll just see straight up like softcore porn.
It's funny that you just went on this whole rant about that entire thing because something I did recently disproves everything you just said because I was thinking of a video from a long time ago I was trying to find and I was so easily able to find it. I was actually shocked, but it was just, I mean, like, you're right. Like, but that is just kind of funny. I was looking for this video of this girl singing the Demon Slayer intro theme song in her car and I just like searched it. I had to go through a duet, but they tagged her, so I just like went to her account and saw it.
I think it's just like if you look up anything on TikTok these days, like several of the top results are just going to be softcore porn. Like just think of any random thing off the top of your head, go look it up on TikTok right now and tell me what you find.
You want me to look something up?
Just like pick something random and just like try to look it up on TikTok and see like how many of the top results if you just like scroll immediately from like the first search page. Which also you can't like refine your search at all either, which really sucks. You can't be like, I want to see it from this date. Just see like how many of those top results are just like brain rot garbage that has nothing to do with it, something vaguely related, or just straight up softcore porn that is like somehow even showing up there.
I mean, I don't know exactly what to search. Like I searched Adventure Time tattoos, but I scrolled for a bit and it's if it's not Adventure Time, it's just tattoos mostly. I don't know what it's got to be.
I think like something that like is actually likely for there to be a lot of content on it maybe won't be the best example of that. So I don't even know.
I mean, I don't know. You're like telling me to walk across a bridge with no guardrails with a blindfold on. I don't know where I'm supposed to go, but I haven't. Yeah, I mean, social media is tough in itself anyway. It's like that on a lot of platforms. Like Instagram's pretty similar as far as I know, but I also don't personally have issues like that, especially because I don't go on those that much, but when I do, I can usually find what I'm looking for. I mostly try to consume like traditional content, and by that I simply just mean like not scrolling social media for millions of hours. I just mean like listening to music or watching something or playing a game or reading a book or whatever, what have you. Just like I try to keep the attention span in the mind and on a steady pace. Try to take care of my brain. I've seen some of our friends' For You pages. I don't know how you get to a For You page like that.
I have recently spent way too much time on TikTok, also because of ADHD medication, being that like when I'm at the end of the day where I've done all I want to do in the day and I'm just like, I'm just going to scroll for a little bit. You know, it's very easy to maintain your attention of whatever you're doing when you are on ADHD medication. That's one of its biggest things, is helping you maintain your attention. So when that attention gets focused on something that is, you know, already like terrible enough for ADHD in being sapping for attention, it means I've spent way too much time scrolling in the past month, to the point where like now my TikTok For You page is like almost entirely just junk because I've scrolled it so much that it's run out of things to show me. Like it doesn't know what to show me. It just gives me like brain rot slop.
That's a real disheartening realization to come to.
Yeah, it's like the things I know that there's still content on there that I want to see, but like because of like scrolling too much on a few occasions, that it just like, you know, it was just like, well, fucking here's like the infinite content pool of like endless slop. So my entire For You page, no matter how much I scroll past it, say I don't care, don't want to watch, it's still like the only thing that is showing up in my For You page now is just slop.
Yeah, I mean, after hitting a brick wall, all you can look at is the bricks.
Yeah.
Certainly can't win them all, especially when it comes to scrolling social media. Like, you scroll like TikToks or Reels or whatever. I mean, I get a lot of brain stimulation from short form content like that for sure, but I don't try to engage with it as much as I used to. I used to be like more so like into it. Like, you know, I used to like make TikToks and I would watch a lot of TikToks, but it was very like new to me then, and the idea of like duetting and like editing short form content on like mobile video editor apps was like so new to me. I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is fresh. I like this. And then now I'm just like, I just want to sit and do the same thing for like 6 hours and then eat and then do it again until I can't do it physically anymore. I need to like watch an entire season of an anime, or I need to like beat the first like 6 gyms of this one Pokemon game or something. I have very simple pleasures in life, and I'm thankful for that. Coffee being one of them. Like I said earlier, it's a lot better of a start to the day if I can have a cup of coffee.
It's nice.
It is a must at this point of my life. I will be 25 in just over a month. I'll be 25 years old, and I need my coffee. Coffee will get me from 25 to 30, which is crazy that in 5 years I'll be turning 30.
I'm turning 30.
Dick out. I've been turning 30 for a minute now.
It is a difficult thing to reckon with, this passage of time.
Yeah, there's some things I like about time. Like when I'm like, the difference comes down to when I'll realize a bunch of time has passed and be like, oh yeah, like cool. I passed so much time doing that one thing. That was a good use of my time. Or when I'm like realizing time hasn't passed even like half as much as I thought it did. Or when it's passed like way too much. But usually for me recently, it's more so the former, where it's like, I'm like, what the fuck happened to the time?
I feel very much relation to the Kill Bill line. I think it's from Sleep Talkin'. It's like, work, slack, work, what the fuck is that amounted to? That's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I think about the passage of time, it's like, damn.
Yeah, we do just really ride on this rock as it rotates in space.
Yeah.
We just happen to have some things to get us by during the time, which is fine for now. I mean, as humans, we do what we can. That's okay. That's enough. We just gotta stay strong and keep up what we do. Live the best life you can.
Put in the work, put in the hours, and take what's ours.
Just gotta we gotta do the best us we can, you know, as humans.
I'll do the best, you'll do the best, my mom, and then we'll both do each other's dads.
Sure. Well, that seems like I guess this is generally a pretty fair point to stop, huh? This episode.
I suppose.
Well, then I suppose we will catch you all next week.
Thank you for joining us for episode 43. Goodbye.
Goodbye now.